August 11th, 1990, 6:42 in the morning. Gustavo Gaviria received the last call of his life. It was Pablo Escobar warning him that the DEA knew his location. During that 3-minute conversation, Gustavo said 3 words to his cousin. 3 words that Pablo did not understand that day. 3 words that he would remember on his own deathbed 3 years later. 3 words that changed everything we thought we knew about loyalty between the 2 most powerful men in drug trafficking. I was with Gustavo during those last 6 hours. I was the only person who heard those 3 words in full, and for 33 years I kept the secret until today. If you stay until the end, you will discover what Gustavo told Pablo before dying, and why he chose death knowing a secret that could have destroyed his cousin forever. My name is Javier Moreno. I was Gustavo Gaviria's personal assistant during his last 2 years of life. I managed his schedule, coordinated his secret meetings, and knew every move he made. But more than an assistant, I considered myself his friend because Gustavo was not like Pablo. He did not shout, did not threaten, did not enjoy power. He was a man of numbers, of strategy, of quiet conversations that moved millions. And that morning of August 11th, when the special phone rang with the tone only Pablo used, I saw something in Gustavo's eyes I had never seen before. Acceptance, he answered on the second ring. Cousin, Pablo said with a tense voice. Gustavo walked toward the window. Outside, Medellin was waking up with its morning traffic. Pablo, what's going on? I have urgent information. The DEA knows where you are. Gustavo looked at me and signaled me to take notes. How do you know? I have a source inside the DEA. They confirmed it 20 minutes ago. They're going to carry out an operation today. Large military force, helicopters, complete blockades. At what time? Silence. 3 seconds that felt eternal. Pablo, at what time? They don't know exactly, but it's today. Definitive. Gustavo turned toward the city. What do you recommend? That you move now. I have a safe house in Envigado. I can send you armored transport in 15 minutes. Or better, go to Napoli's. They will never find you there, and my family is already safe. I moved them last night when I received the first alert. Gustavo nodded slowly. Pablo had moved his family without telling him. That meant the threat was real, and Pablo had known beforehand. Since when have you known, Pablo? What? That the DEA knows my location? Since when have you known? Another silence, longer this time. Cousin, that doesn't matter now. What matters is that you move. It matters to me. Since when? Since yesterday afternoon. But I didn't want to scare you without confirming. Gustavo closed his eyes. Pablo had known for almost 24 hours. Or you didn't want me to move until you were sure they were really coming. Gustavo, don't start with that. Because if I had moved yesterday, maybe the DEA would have changed plans. Maybe they would have gone after someone else. Maybe it was better to wait until I was completely sure before alerting you. Cousin, what are you implying? Gustavo opened his eyes and looked directly at me. There were tears there. Nothing, Pablo. I'm not implying anything. Thank you for the warning. Then are you moving? Yes, I'm moving. Where are you going? It's better that you don't know in case the DEA is intercepting calls. Gustavo, I'll call you when you're safe. Give me 2 hours. All right, but be careful, cousin. I need you. I know. I need you too. And that's when Gustavo said it. The 3 words that would change everything. It is already forgiven. Pablo took a moment to respond. What is forgiven? Everything. It is all already forgiven. Gustavo, I don't understand. You don't need to understand now. Just remember it. When the time comes, remember that it is already forgiven. Cousin, you're talking strangely. I'm perfectly fine. I love you, Pablo. You are my brother. You always were. You always will be. I love you too, cousin. That's why I need you to take care of yourself. I will. We'll talk in 2 hours. Gustavo hung up. He stood in front of the window for a full 30 seconds. Then he turned to me. "Javier, do you have family?" "Yes, sir. Wife and 2 children. I want you to leave now. Take this envelope." He handed me a thick envelope. There was enough money to disappear for a year. "Mr. Gustavo, I cannot leave you." "It is not a request, Javier. It is an order. You leave now." "But what are you going to do?" Gustavo smiled. It was a sad smile of someone who has already made a difficult decision. "I am going to stay. I am going to make 3 important calls, and I am going to wait." "Sir, if you stay, they will kill you." "I know." "Then why don't you flee?" Gustavo walked to his desk. He took out a letter he seemed to have written during the night. "Because there are things more important than living. Javier, like protecting the people you love, like keeping secrets that could destroy your family, like dying with dignity instead of living as a coward." "I don't understand." "You don't need to understand. You just need to leave and live a good life. Do you promise me?" I took the envelope with trembling hands. "I promise." "Good, now go." "And Javier?" "Yes." "In exactly 30 days, go to the Bank of the Republic. Ask for safety deposit box number 3247. Say you come on behalf of Gustavo Gaviria. There is something there you will eventually need to deliver. Not before 30 days. Understood." "Understood. Perfect. Now disappear." I left that house at 7:15 in the morning. Gustavo Gaviria had 5 hours and 45 minutes of life left, but I did not know it. I only knew I had just witnessed something strange. Gustavo was not afraid. He was not preparing to flee. He was preparing for something completely different. During the next 33 years, I asked myself 1,000 times why I didn't stay, why I didn't insist more, why I obeyed his order to leave. But now, after having opened that safety deposit box and seen what Gustavo left there, I understand exactly why he sent me away. Because what Gustavo did in those last 6 hours was not just saying goodbye, it was protecting the biggest secret of the Medellin cartel. A secret about Pablo Escobar that, if the DEA had discovered it, would have destroyed not only Pablo, but dozens of innocent families. A secret so terrible that Gustavo preferred to die rather than reveal it. A secret that has to do with those 3 words. It is already forgiven. Because Pablo had done something unforgivable, something only Gustavo knew. And instead of using it to save himself, Gustavo chose to forgive him and die with that forgiveness intact. 30 days after August 11th, I went to the Bank of the Republic. I opened safety deposit box 3247. Inside was an envelope with my name, a letter from Gustavo, and an audio cassette labeled for Pablo. "When you are ready to listen," the letter explained everything. "Javier, if you are reading this, it means everything went as I planned. I am dead and my family is safe. That was the only acceptable outcome." On this cassette is a recording of a conversation between Pablo and me from 2 years ago. A conversation where Pablo confesses something terrible, something he did and that no one else knows. I could have used this recording to force him to protect me better, to secure my escape, but if I did, I would destroy my cousin. And I did not come into this world to destroy Pablo. I came to protect him, even from himself. Your job is simple. Keep this cassette. Do not listen to it. Do not give it to anyone. But if one day Pablo is dying, if he is in his last hours like I was in mine, give it to him, because at that moment he will need to know that his secret died with me, that I forgave him, and that he can die in peace. Those 3 words I told him, "It is already forgiven," were my way of telling him I knew his secret and chose to protect him anyway. He did not understand that day, but when he hears this cassette, he will understand. Thank you for everything, Javier. You were a good friend. Now be free. I kept that cassette for 3 years. I hid it, protected it. I never listened to it because Gustavo asked me not to. And on December 2nd, 1993, when Pablo Escobar was surrounded on that rooftop in Medellin, when he knew he was going to die, I managed to reach him. I handed him the cassette. Gustavo left this for you. He said to listen when you are ready. Pablo took it with trembling hands, looking at it as if it were the most valuable thing in the world. What is in here? I don't know. I never listened to it, but Gustavo said you would understand. Pablo put the cassette in his pocket. 5 minutes later, he was dead. I never knew if he managed to listen to it. I never knew if he understood his cousin's final message. But what I do know, what I can now reveal after 33 years, is that Gustavo Gaviria did not die because he was careless. He died because he chose to protect Pablo until his last breath, because he knew a secret that could have saved him and decided not to use it because he loved his cousin more than he loved his own life. And those 3 words, "It is already forgiven," were his final way of telling Pablo, "I know what you did, and I forgive you. Now live with that." What secrets did Gustavo keep? What did Pablo do that was so terrible? That you will discover in the next part of this story. Because Gustavo's forgiveness was not just a noble gesture, it was the greatest sacrifice a man can make for another, and it changed Pablo Escobar's destiny in ways no one could have foreseen. 2 years before August 11th, 1990, in July 1988, Gustavo Gaviria discovered the secret that would eventually lead to his death.